Hello, folks. This is Tom Martin. This is my lottery strategy game, Decoding the Powerball guessing game. I'm picking my numbers to the drawing on August 11th, 2019. If you'd like to get my game Decoding the Powerball, then please email me at decodingpowerball@gmail.com. Thank you, and please subscribe. Okay, so the object of my game is for you to correctly eliminate groups of numbers. There are 69 white ball numbers in the Powerball lottery. Only 5 numbers can come up as winners, so that means 64 numbers can't come up at all. So for me, I think it should be easier to pick the numbers that won't be coming up than the 5 that actually do. So to help me do that, I'm going to turn to the 5 strategies of my game. So strategy 1 and 2, the game card color code and the 50-50 picks. Okay, so if you've never seen my videos before, why I make them is to show you on how to use my game. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call the game card. This is a format that I came up with that represents the 69 white ball numbers in the Powerball lottery. I really don't have anything for the Powerball itself. My goal is to get all 5 white balls correct and win the $2 million prize with the Power Play option. Okay, so first things first is I'm going to go to the Powerball homepage, and the 5 white winning numbers that just came up were the 11, 20, 41, 42, and 56. Again, I really don't care about the red ball. Okay, so what I do is I take those 5 white winning numbers and I put it at the top of this list, and now I'm going to find out what colors they were. Okay, so the 11 was blue, the 20 was orange, the 41 was red, the 42 was purple, and the 56 was red. So I'm going to color these in. So again, the 11 was blue, the 20 was orange, the 41 and 56 were red, and the 42 was purple. So now I'm going to count how many colors I got. I got 2 red, 1 purple, 1 orange, 1 blue for 4 colors total. Okay, so up here I'm going to make this 365 color code drawings I kept track of so far. And now a 4 color combination has now come up 128 times. Okay? So what I want you to focus on here is the 3 color combination. You can see that has come up in 193 drawings out of 365 drawings. Okay, so if you do some quick math, you're going to see that a 3 color combination comes up more than half the time. Okay, and to me that's huge because long term, if I just keep on picking a 3 color combination, I know statistically I'm going to be correct more than half the time. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to make a new game card. So I'm going to get rid of all these colors and start from scratch. Okay, so my color code is right here. Here's the red numbers, the orange, the green, the blue, and whatever's left over is purple. So what I did is I took the 69 white ball numbers, I divided it by 5 colors, and that's 1 color for each of the 5 white winning Powerball numbers, and that equals 13.8. So my goal is to get as close to as 13 or 14 numbers per color as possible, or a good representation of each color. Okay, so again, I'm going to start in with the red numbers. Now, the red numbers are the last 3 drawings of numbers, and the reason why that is because this will give me a maximum of 15 numbers. Okay, so again, I'm going to start in with the 11, the 20, the 41, 42, and 56. The next line down is the 4, the 8, 30, 52, and 59. And the last line is 14, 41, which is already taken, the 50, 56 is already taken, and the 57. So again, I'm going to make these red numbers. And now I'm going to count how many I have. So I got 4 here, 2 more for 6, 1 for 7, 3 is 10, and 3 more is 13. So I'm going to leave this alone at 13. So up here tells me how many of each color I have on the game card. Okay, so moving on to the orange area, I'm going to start in with the 9, then the 32, the 37, 41 is already taken, and the 56 is already taken. So the next line down is the 5, 12, 20, which is already taken, 21, and 47. So the next line down is the 12, which is taken, the 21 is taken, so the 22, 29, and 32 is already taken. And the last line is 18, 21 is already taken, 24, 30 is taken, and the 60. So again, I'm going to make these orange numbers, and I'm going to count how many I have. So I got 3, and 1 is 4, 2 is 6, 2 is 8, and 4 is 12. So up here, I'm going to put 12. Okay, so I think you understand how I came up with the colors for my game card here. So what I'm going to do is, just to speed things up, I'm going to scroll to the right. And this is what the game card looks like for September 11th, 2019. Okay, so you can see that there was 13 red numbers, 12 orange, turned out to be 20 green numbers, 13 blue, and 11 purple numbers. Okay, so again, more than half the time, a 3-color combination comes up. Okay, so that means more than half the time, 2 colors are not coming up. And that's what I want to focus on here. So again, the strategy is try to correctly guess what color group will not be coming up and eliminate that group of numbers off of the game card. Okay, so I want to point out that all 5 colors do come up. You can see that it's come up 13 times out of 365 drawings. Okay, so it does come up, but it's very rare. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a prediction on what color group will not be coming up. Okay, so to help me make a decision, I'm going to turn to the next strategy called the 50-50 picks. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call the 50-50 picks. So again, there's 5 white winning Powerball numbers. Okay, so there has to be a majority of either odd numbers or even numbers, or numbers to the high side or numbers to the low side. So I like to keep track of that and try to correctly guess what the majority will be for the upcoming drawing. Okay, so I use this 50-50 picks as kind of like a roadmap to those 5 white winning Powerball numbers. Okay, so I'm going to update this here. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the game card. And again, for the 5 white winning numbers, I have an odd number, even, odd, even, even. Okay, so 3 even numbers, 2 odds. So the first thing I'm going to do is make this 410 drawings I kept track of so far. And basically this goes back to October 7th, 2015. That's when the Powerball lottery went from 59 numbers to 69 numbers. Okay, so again, I had 2 odd numbers and 3 even numbers. Okay, so here I like to divide things into 5 drawings just so I can see the majority. Okay, so the majority of this drawing, this 5, was evens, 3 drawings to 2. Okay, so up here I'm going to make this 196 because the evens had the majority here. Okay, so again, I like to break things down into 5 so it shows me that majority, and now this kind of helps me make a decision on what I think is going to happen. Okay, so I looked at this and I can't really come up with a decision for what's going to be the majority of odds or evens, so I'm just going to leave this one alone and move on to the next one. Now the next one is high and low, so all the numbers in blue are considered low, all the ones in red are considered high. Okay, so as I look through this, you can see that over on the left side, the high side here, it's been very sparse here. Okay, so I'm going to predict that more numbers are going to be in this red area than the blue area. Okay, so when I go to eliminate numbers, I'm going to be looking more in this blue area to eliminate numbers because the most that it could have is 2 if I'm correct with my guess here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to write that down. I think more high numbers than low. Okay, so this will just help me remind myself what I picked. Okay, so going back to the 50-50 picks, the next one I have is this left and right. So as I look at this and I'm heading down through the past drawings, this left looks really sparse over here as well. So I think it's going to go at least one more where the majority of the numbers I think is going to be over here to this left side. Okay, so when I go to eliminate numbers, I'm going to be looking over here to the right side to do that. Okay, so going back to the game card, I'm going to write that down more to the left side than the right side. Okay, so one last one that I have is this red and blue area here. Okay, and again, as I look on to the left side here, it looks very, very sparse over here. So I'm going to go ahead and predict that more numbers are going to be in this red area than the blue area. Okay, so I'm going to write that down as well. Okay, so now I'm going to make a decision on what color group I don't think is going to come up. Okay, and for me, I'm going to go with no blue numbers. So the thing about my game is that we're all going to look at this differently. So we're all going to come up with a different result. Okay, but over here, again, just looking at things, I think there's going to be more numbers to the high side than the low. Okay, and more to the left than to the right. So again, I'm going to go ahead and eliminate these blue numbers, and hopefully they don't come up. Okay, so I'm going to block these out. Now, when I block out numbers like this means that I'm not even going to consider these numbers when I'm picking what I think would be the 5 white winning Powerball numbers. Okay? So what I'm doing here is I'm buying a Powerball ticket worth $3, okay, and that's with the power play. So in other words, I'm betting $3 that none of these blue numbers will come up in the next drawing, okay? So if I'm correct with my bet and none of these blue numbers come up, then I'm one step closer to that $2 million prize. Okay, so I'm off to the next strategy. And that's strategy number 3, the individual numbers. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call the individual numbers. Okay, so basically what I did is I divided the 69 numbers into 7 different groups. So this is group number 1 right here. It holds the numbers of 1 through 9. This is the only one with 9 numbers, and of course the others have 10 numbers to them for 69. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to update this here. So here's the 11. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to follow this plane until I find the 11. And I'm going to make this blue. So I'm making this blue because the 11 is blue, and the 11 is blue because the color code said it was blue. Okay? So what I do is first of all, I'm going to reduce this down so you can see the whole card. Okay, so how you read this is this big square right here is good for 5 drawings. Okay? Now, the reason why I break it down into 5 is for a couple of reasons. The first reason is when I go back into the history of things, it's easier to count going 5, 10, 15, 20, and so on, okay? But my theory is that if there's a lot of hits within this 5 drawings, then maybe there won't be so many hits in the next 5 drawings, okay? So that's how I kind of look at things. So again, I got 7 groups here, and there's only 5 white winning Powerball numbers, okay? So I know that 2 of these groups cannot have a winning Powerball number to it. So the strategy is try to correctly guess what group will not have the winning Powerball number to it and eliminate that group of numbers off of the game card. Okay? So what I'm going to go with is I'm going to go with no numbers of 1 through 9. I don't think any of these numbers are going to come up. So I'm going to get rid of them off of my game card. Okay? So again, we're all going to look at this differently. So we're all going to come up with a different result. But the reason why I'm picking this is because I call this first position right here. Okay. And you can see that there was a hit here, and let's see, a hit here, and a hit down here for 3 in a row. Okay. So that doesn't happen very often. So I'm going to predict that it's not going to do that right here. Okay. So again, I'm going to blow this back up. And I'm going to go back to my game card and eliminate the numbers of 1 through 9 off of my game card. Okay? So one last thing I want to point out is over here, this tells me how many groups got hit. So in the last drawing, there was 4 out of 7 groups that had a hit to it. So that means 3 of these groups had misses to it. Okay? Excuse me. So as I look at this and I go back into the history of things, you can see that a 5 hasn't come up in 11 drawings here, okay? So I'm going to predict that a 5 is going to come up. So when I pick my winning numbers, I want it to represent 5 out of these 7 groups, okay? So again, I'm going to go back to the game card and I'm going to eliminate the 1 through 9 numbers, okay? So I'll get rid of the 8 over here and the 9 right here. So I'll get rid of these numbers, and hopefully they don't come up. Okay, so moving on to the next strategy. And that's strategy number 4, picking the numbers I hope will miss from group 1. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call my group 1 numbers. Okay, so basically what I did is I divided the numbers in all 69 numbers into 4 different color groups. Okay, so when the 5 white winning Powerball numbers land within these groups, I record where they land down here in the stats. Okay, so I'm going to do that right now. So the winning numbers were 11, and that was here in the red. 20 is in the red. 41 is in the orange. 42 is in the orange, and 56 is in the green. Okay, so I had 2 in the red area. No winning Powerball numbers in the blue. 2 in the orange, and 1 in the green. Okay, so the strategy is try to correctly guess where these zeros are going to pop up. If I could have correctly guessed that none of these blue numbers were going to come up in the last drawing, I could have eliminated all these numbers and gave myself a much better chance at winning some kind of prize in the Powerball lottery. Sorry about that. Got a dry throat here. So if there's a hit, I colored the background red for hot. And if there's a miss, I colored the background blue for cold, just to give me some separation. So up here, I'm going to make this 93, and this tells me how many blue marks I have in this column here, okay? So moving on, now I have 15 of these option cards here. Okay, so I'm going to go through these, and I'm going to make a prediction on where I think that 0 is going to be, okay? So as I go through, my first one is going to be option card number 7, no green numbers, okay? So the reason why is because this has gone 36 drawings in a row where one of these green numbers have popped up, okay? So this is a new record for all 15 option cards. The last record was 33 drawings in a row, okay? So because this green actually represents 20 numbers, and I'll explain that right now, let me go back to the game card. And you can see on the game card, I got these 5 numbers over here to the left, okay? And when I come back to this group 1, you can see that there's no numbers over here to the left, okay? Now the reason why is because I really wanted this grid of 8 squares across and 8 squares down, but that's only good for 64 numbers. And of course, there's 69 numbers in the lottery, okay? So I had to pair up a couple of these squares. Like the 8 shares the square with the 66, the 19 with the 67, the 25 and the 65, 53 and the 69, and the 58 and the 68. So if I get rid of all these green numbers, I'm going to get rid of the 8 and the 66, along with all the other green numbers here as a group, okay? So this is just my way of grouping up numbers here, okay? So as I go back to the game card, you can see that with this corner right here, it's the 4 squares, then it's the middle, and then it's this pattern here and this pattern over here. So as I go back to the game card, I'm going to get rid of the 4 corners, and then the middle right here. So the 19 shares the square with the 67, so I'll get rid of that as well. 34, 35. Now the 58 and 68 share a square, and 53 and 69 share a square. So I'll get rid of these numbers as well. Now since this represents 20 numbers here in the green area, okay, there's 49 other numbers that can come up, okay, and I only need 5, so I don't think that this is going to go on forever here, okay? I mean, it certainly could, but with 49 other numbers that come up, I don't think it's going to go too much further before there's a 0, okay? So if there is a hit in this next drawing, in this green one, then the next drawing after that, I'm going to take no green here as well, okay? And I'm going to keep on taking it until that 0 pops up. Okay, so the next one that I'm going to pick is this option card 13, no orange. Now the reason why I'm picking this is that you can see that here's a single 0. And over here, there was 3 zeros that popped up, okay? Here there was 4. Over here there was 2. But here in this orange, there's been 21 single zeros in a row here, okay? So I think it's due to double up. At least I hope it is. Okay. So I'm going to get rid of all these orange numbers here on option card 13. And that's the 5, 7, 14, 16, that pattern all the way down. Okay, so here's the 14. Again, the 5, 7, 14, 5, 7. Here's the 7. And that's about it. So I'm going to block out those numbers. And hopefully those numbers don't come up. Okay, so moving on to the next strategy. It's strategy number 5, picking the numbers I hope will miss from group 2. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call my group 2 numbers. Okay, so much like group 1, where I divided things into 4 different color groups, here I divided things into 8 different color groups. Okay, so it's just another way of looking at groups of numbers, except with this, I know that there's only 5 white winning Powerball numbers, and there's 8 color groups here. So I know that 3 of these color groups cannot have a winning Powerball number to it. So the strategy is, try to correctly guess what color group will not have the winning Powerball number to it, and eliminate that group of numbers off of the game card. Okay, so I'm going to update this as well. So here the winning numbers were the 11 in orange, the 20 in green, 41 in red, 42 in blue, and 56 in yellow. Okay, so I always like to read things from left to right, so I got 1 red, 1 blue, 1 orange, 1 green, and 1 yellow. So down here, the current, I had 1 red, I had 1 blue, I had 1 orange, and I had 1 green. I had no winning Powerball numbers in the purple area, no winning Powerball numbers in the brown area, no winning Powerball numbers in the gray area, and 1 in that yellow, the 56. Okay, so now I'm going to count how many color groups it hit. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm going to put a 5 here. And I'm going to leave this 5 red, because that tells me that the majority of the numbers were over here to the left side. Okay, so if I'm going back through the history and I'm looking at this 5, well, I know that the majority of the numbers were over here to the left side and not the right. Okay, so why I do that is, if I see a streak of green like this, well, I know it's going to turn red eventually, and when it does, I'm going to be looking for the zeros on the opposite side. Okay, so here you can see that the background is blue and some are red. Okay, so if there's, well, what I like to say is I like to break this down into 5 again, so it shows me that majority. Okay, so here you can see the majority was hits, so when that happens, I color the background red for hot. And if the majority is misses, like these two, I'm going to color the background blue for cold. Okay, so the reason why I do that is when I see something like this right here in this red area, you can see how hot this was. Well, I know it's going to turn blue eventually. I just have to correctly guess when that's going to happen. So I'm going to make a guess right now, okay? And my guess is that the 0, or one of the 3 zeros, is going to be here in the yellow area, okay? So I'm going to eliminate these yellow numbers off of the game card. So I'm going to go up and see what they are. And it's the 66 that runs down to the 64. So the only one left is the 24, so I'm going to get rid of that off of my game card. And hopefully that 24 doesn't come up, okay? So moving on to the next one, I have 15 of these option cards as well. Okay, so this next one, I'm going to go with no red numbers. So you can see here it's been pretty hot down through here, and now I think the 0 is going to be right here. So I'm going to get rid of these red numbers off of my game card. And you can see that there's nothing to get rid of here, okay? So here's the thing. Now I keep track of all the stats for all 15 of these option cards, okay? And the thing is that on average for all 15 option cards, it runs from an average of 3.8 to 4.2, okay? And what I mean what I mean by that, or what I'm trying to say here, is that on average, 4 of these option cards are going to have a hit to it, and 4 of these options are going to have a miss to it. Okay. So here's the thing. I picked red to have a 0 to it. There was nothing to eliminate. So instead of coming back to this option card number 2 and picking another area, okay, right now I got like a 50-50 guess, okay? So if I'm correct with my guess here of red, if I make another guess on this option card, the odds go way, way up that I'm probably going to get it wrong, okay? So I designed this to move on to the next option card where I have that 50-50 chance again, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a prediction here for this option card number 3, and that's no gray numbers, okay? Oops. Sorry, I like to get these colors all set here. Okay, so again, I think the 0 is going to be right here in the gray area, and I'm going to go up and see what numbers they are. And it runs from the 6 to the 30 and the 35 to the 59. So I'll get rid of the 22 and the 51. So hopefully those numbers don't come up. Okay, so I'm moving on to the next one. So option card number 4, I'm going to go with no green numbers. So here's the green, and as I scroll down through, you can see that things got pretty hot down through here, so I'm hoping that the 0 is going to be right here. And I'm going to get rid of these green, the 29 to the 32 and the 57 to the 60. So I'll get rid of the 31, the 57, and the 60. And hopefully those 3 numbers do not come up. Okay, so moving on to option card number 5. I'm going to go with no brown. So here's the brown. Okay, so you can see that things got pretty hot down through here, so I'm hoping the 0 will be right here. And I'm going to get rid of these brown numbers. So I'm going to get rid of the 15, and hopefully that number doesn't come up. Okay, so moving on to 6, I'm going to go with orange. So here's the orange, and as I scroll down through, you're going to see that things got pretty hot down through here, so I'm hoping the 0 is going to be right here. And I'm going to get rid of the 5, 14, 21, 30 all the way down. And there's nothing to get rid of. Okay, so I'm going to move on to the next one. Option card 7, I'm going to go with yellow. So as I scroll down through here, see things got pretty hot through here, so I'm hoping the 0 will be right here. And I'm going to get rid of the 17, 26, 67, 28 all the way across. So I'll get rid of that 28, and hopefully that doesn't come up. Okay, so moving on to 8. I'm going to go with green, so here's the green. And as I scroll down, you can see that things got pretty hot through here, so I'm hoping the 0 will be right here. And I'm going to get rid of these green, the 8, 13, 24, 29 all the way across. And I'll get rid of the 61. Okay, so moving on. Again, I have 15 of these option cards, so I'm almost done. So here with option card 9, I'm going to go with blue. You can see that things got pretty hot through here, so I'm hoping the 0 will be right here. And I'm going to get rid of these blue numbers, the pattern of 227 on the left side, 1621 on the right side. So I'm going to get rid of the 27. So hopefully that doesn't come up. Okay, so moving on to 10. I'm going to go with gray. So here's the gray. You can see how hot this has been. So I'm hoping the 0 will be right here. And I'm going to get rid of these gray numbers, the pattern of 17, 28 all the way around. And I'm going to get rid of the 49. Okay, so moving on. Option card 11, I'm going to go with red. So scrolling down. You can see how hot things have been here. So I'm hoping the 0 is going to be right here. And I'm going to get rid of these red numbers, the 6, 17, 35, 56. Okay, so the 25 shares the square with the 65. So I'm going to get rid of this 25 here. And that's it. So moving on for option card 12. I'm going to go with purple. So here's the purple. And as I scroll down through, you can see that things got pretty hot down through here. Okay, so I'm hoping the 0 is going to be right here. And plus this has hit 9 drawings in a row as well. So it's the 6 to the 30 and the 34 to the 68. So I'll get rid of that 13 and I'll get rid of the 41. So hopefully those numbers don't come up. Okay, so again, I have 15 of these option cards, so I'm almost done. So 13, I'm going to go with gray. And as I scroll down through, you can see that things got pretty hot down through here, so I'm hoping the 0 is right here. And the gray numbers are the 5 to the 66 and the 33 to the 36. So I'll get rid of the 33 and the 42. Hopefully those numbers don't come up. Okay, so moving on to 14. I'm going to go with gray as well. So scrolling down, you can see how hot things have been. Plus this has hit 7 drawings in a row, so I'm hoping the 0 will be right here. So this is the 8, 12, 24, 28. So I'm going to get rid of the 12. Okay, so last one. I'm going to go with no gray again. Okay, so as I scroll down through, things get gotten fairly hot down through here, so I'm going with the 0 right here. And the gray numbers run from the 66 down to the 57. So I'm going to get rid of this 50 right here. Okay, so that leaves me with 6 numbers. Okay, so I need 5 numbers total. Okay, so I'm going to go back to my 50-50 picks. Okay, where I think that there's going to be more high numbers than low. Okay, so far that's correct. More numbers to the left side. So I'm going to need this 20, 44, and 52. Okay, so I know that. And more to the red area, which is right here. Okay, so which one am I going to get rid of? Well, another thing that happens a lot is, again, more than half the time, a 3-color combination comes up. Okay, so I'm either going to get rid of the 44 or the 47. Okay, so for me, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of the 47. Okay, so the numbers that I'm going to go with are the 20, 38, 44, 52, 63. Okay, so as I go back to the individual numbers here, again, I thought there was going to be a 5 right here, like right here, okay? So as I go back to the game card, this will be in its group, the 38 will be in its own group, the 44 will be in its own group, the 52 and the 63 will both be in their own groups, okay? So that will make 5 right there. So I'm just going to highlight this. And again, the numbers that I'm going to go with are the 20, 38, 44, 52, and 63. Okay? So I think Sherlock Holmes said it the best when he said it's a matter of deduction. Okay? So if these blocked out numbers don't come up, then these highlighted numbers have to come up. Okay, so what are the odds that I made all the correct picks? Okay, so let me go over the official odds. So the official odds for the grand prize, getting all 5 white balls correct and the red ball, the odds are 1 in 292 million that you'll get it correct. Okay, my goal is to get all 5 white balls correct, and what I mean by that is that this game is geared up for the white balls. Okay, I love to win the grand prize, don't get me wrong. Okay, now the odds are 1 in 11,688,000. Okay, so in other words, you can make nearly 12 million 5-number combinations out of 69 numbers. Okay, so I don't want to give out any illusions that this is going to be easy to win. Okay, so another nice prize to win would be 4 white balls and a red ball that pays 50,000 plus the power play if you play it. And the odds of that are just about 1 in a million. So you can see the odds for the $100 prize and the $7 prize. Okay. Now if you get just the Powerball right, that pays $4 plus the power play. So you can see that the odds are astronomical. Okay. So I just want to tell you that if you spend $3 per drawing, there's 2 drawings per week, you would spend $312 per year on the lottery. Okay, so one last thing that I have is for the Powerball number itself. The last number was the 6. So in this column here, basically what I did is there's 26 red numbers, and I just divided the numbers in 2 for this column. So if you see a blue number, that means low, 1 to 13. And if you see a red number, that's high, 14 to 26. Over in this column, if you see a red number, that's odds. If you see a blue number, that's evens. Okay? So why I do this is because if I see a streak like this, a blue, well, I know it's going to turn red eventually. I just have to correctly guess when that's going to happen. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to predict that this is going to go blue again, and over here I think it's going to be red. So I'm looking for a low odd number. Now the 9 hasn't come up in, I believe, just about 100 drawings. So I'm going to go with the 9. So we'll see what happens, all right? So in closing, I want to thank you for watching, okay? If you would like to support my channel, then please go to my Patreon page at www.patreon.com/Decoding the Powerball. As always, I want to wish you the best of luck with your picks.